Let's adapt one final piece. In our last example, we took a lot of creative license and made a creepy theme. Conversely, we can also take something mysterious or scary and make it more stable. Let's use example 3-4a. This was a foreboding mystery theme. Let's try turning this into something dreamy and romantic. Feel free to take a moment and think about what you might do. Let me show you what I've come up with. This is example 5-4. Let's play it and then I'll walk through what I did. Here it is. This has kind of a dreamy quality. As an experiment, I tried maintaining the original parts whenever I could, using the same instruments, voicings, etc. The big change here is a harmonic one. Originally, the piece was written using a polychord, which gave us a 6-note scale. The original harp arpeggios sounded like this. However, I can keep the same shape of the line, but fit the notes to G flat major instead, like this. Everything has been adjusted in a similar way. For instance, the flutes in measures 3 and 4 still move down by a step, but now within the G flat major scale. Same thing with the English horn melody. The intervals are slightly different, but generally the same shape. And accordingly, I adjusted the harmony to fit the melody. I'm using more traditional harmonic patterns. All of this means I've done some reharmonizing. In measure 3, the piano and harp arpeggios spell out C flat major 7 over G flat. This harmony nicely accommodates the melody, which is also doubled by the flutes in thirds. I went for a lighter sound in the strings, so I replaced the cello tremolo with a viola tremolo. But otherwise, most of the instrumentation is the same in the first 8 measures. I also reharmonized bar 5 through 8. The string bass still moves up to B flat. However, the piano arpeggios now depict a B flat 7 chord. The melody steps up to C flat in bar 6, which is the flat 9 of the chord. Then we resolve to E flat minor in measure 7. This is like a 5-1 resolution, and it's much more traditional than what we had in the original theme. In measure 8, the piano steps down to D flat in the bass. I'm using this step to connect to the upcoming harmony in measure 9. Let's look at that. In the original theme, measures 9 through 12 were very dramatic. We had volume swells in the winds and then the brass. Instead of returning to G flat, I reharmonized to cast the melody in a new light, and I decided to go to the 4 chord, C flat major. So now the bass line from measures 7 to 9 moves from E flat to D flat and down to C flat. It's nice and smooth. And now when I combine the measure 9 harmony with the melody, this kind of gives us the sound of the Lydian mode. It's as if we're in C flat Lydian. This plays into the dreamy quality that I'm aiming for. I'm still using celesta to double the melody, but it sounds very sweet in this major key. In measures 11 and 12, the instruments really thin out. Instead of making this a big moment, I went for something more intimate. A solo clarinet takes over the melody, and the piano repeats measures 9 and 10 an octave higher. So again, we're using a 2-chord pattern that features the characteristic note of a C-flat Lydian mode. In this case, it's F natural. We have C-flat major, and then D-flat over C-flat. Then, in the final 2 measures, I used the same gesture as the original piece, but adapted to G-flat major. We have clarinet doubling harp moving upwards, and they're shadowed underneath with a tremolo violin. Instead of a suspended cymbal roll, we're using a brush that gently scrapes the cymbal, which gives us a nice light accent. Even in small details like these, I'm trying to make choices that support the dreamy quality of the arrangement. And that brings us to the end. That's our final piece, and this concludes our course. I hope these examples have given you some ideas and revealed some techniques that you can try out in your own writing. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all the best of success. Happy composing.